who threatened to kill me and my family and everyone who has the same name. They would get, well, in dollars a month, which is alright salary in St. Petersburg, Russia.
Although you are well known as an expert on Russian information warfare, but please introduce yourself to Korean public.
I'm Jessi Karo, a journalist and author. As a journalist, I've specialized in Russia, information warfare and extremism.
You had to endure harsh consequences for your fact-based articles. Is it true that you even received death threats?
Yes, I've received a massive amount of them, and also some of them have been written online, and there are just death fantasies and torture fantasies. One was a really bad threatener who threatened to kill me and my family and everyone who has the same name. Also that I should commit suicide, the Russian style, so that someone would push me under the metro. They're just really creative.
Finland authorities, they fully supported to you?
In the beginning, I really much was asking for more help from the police. However, they handed out a pamphlet to me, or like a paper like this, where there were just some instructions on how I should protect myself. For example, to put some foil in my windows, some security protective foil, so that no one could come in, and to check under my car before I go driving, and to monitor my surroundings.
Of course, you knew it.
Yeah, and I felt like I was a prisoner of my own home. And the police directly told me that they don't have the resources to, protect an individual like me. So I realized I'm on my own, and that's when I decided to leave, actually. So, because that was the only way for me to guarantee my own safety. However, I have to say that there were also police who were also investigating heavily. And it was just so slow. But in the end, the police did a really good job in investigating some of these key people. So altogether 5 people have been sentenced.
Oh, as you mentioned earlier, but I'm really curious that, what kind of people participated in?
When we went to the troll factory back in 2015, we were really investigating specifically also this. We found out that it was kids in their 20s. So your regular Russian kids who wanted to just kind of like a good salary. They would get, in dollars from 400 up to 660 US dollars a month, which is alright salary in St. Petersburg, Russia. According to Russian reports that I read back then, majority of the people, they're not there for the ideology. They don't, believe or heavily support the ideas that they are spreading or the policies that they are spreading. So the circulation of the employees is also quite quick, because not many people want to stay in a job that they don't really believe in, or that they find it somehow steps on their values. So they leave after a couple of months, many of them. However, there is a minority, according to Russian reports and troll kind of insider views, that some 20-25%, some part of the people really are there for the ideology, really want to work as trolls because they believe in Putin, they believe in the ways that Putin is running the country, and they really want to do something good for the Russian country.
It seems like they are really hard supporters for Putin.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, well, when you think, it must be a dream job for a hardcore Putinist.
How many people were?
I've investigated this, and at that time, so a couple of years ago, before the acceleration, officials estimate some tens of people. I was following actively 4 or 5 people. Later, it appeared that some of them have passed away already. You can also pay attention to Russian people and Russian individuals and Russian men who have been subjected to Putin's propaganda and hate speech against Ukrainians for already well over a decade. So you can really tell by what's happening in the war fields that these people to some extent have been weaponized themselves, because they are really ready to conduct these atrocities, genocide, rapes, war crimes, and even after that give out statements publicly that they don't want these Ukrainian women to ever make any children because they're such an animals, and that's why they are raping them, so that they would never have sex with men again.
Is it still underway?
Yes, it's always on the way.
Prigozhin has conducted some kind of Russian information warfare. Could you elaborate on the cases of...
Prigozhin is well known originally for being a spy, an intelligence officer who has always worked in the close connection with Putin. He has been known, interestingly, as Putin's chef. He has been present in meetings of Putin with other world leaders. So whenever Putin has been meeting with, let's say, presidents of other countries, Prigozhin has always been there as a chef, when in fact he's an intelligence officer and he has been serving the motherland there. Also, he became more prominent after 2014, after the troll factory findings. Well, let's say after 2016 US presidential elections, the US investigation into the Russian interference of US elections 2016 started, and they found and established that Prigozhin was indeed operating and directing closely Russian troll factory, which in its part was influencing and impacting American people to have them vote for Donald Trump. So he's very prominent in Africa because he is also known as the leader of the Wagner military forces. They are very active in African countries, also in Sudan, where there is now at the moment horrible conflict going on. Prigozhin is also being reported to have directed Russian troll operations and giving advice to the Sudanese dictator on how to repress the population. That's just some of the known examples.
The next question is this. You've been through all the death threats and so on, but nevertheless, if you could turn back time, would you write about Russian information warfare again? Why or why not?
It's my interest, and I find it fascinating and important, a story of our times. Years after my initial start of the investigations have shown and proved why my original work was so important. It is designed to have the Kremlin's wished and favorite politicians to power in our countries. For example, so it's a global threat and it should be treated that way.